Two mothers blame their incarcerated son's deaths on the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison.
A new report titled Louisiana Deaths Behind Bars says that facility has more deaths than any other jail in the state. NBC Local 33's Ariel Salk tells us why these moms say more needs to be done.
And so we did potluck for his repast.
Linda Franks is talking about her son, Lamar Johnson, the kid who grew up to be a community role model.
He took the little children in the neighborhood and formed a football camp with them. He took his trophies that he had and he scratched his name off the trophies to make sure that each of the little boys would be able to get a trophy.
That love for kids applied at home too.
He loved his daughter. He just doted on them, and he was an amazing father.
But 8 years ago, Johnson ended up in the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison. The results of not paying a parking ticket and cashing a bad check. Frank says before that, he rarely got in trouble and didn't show signs of mental illness. That's why she was so surprised 4 days later when she got a call her son was barely alive after trying to hang himself.
I'm so proud of the man that he was. We realized that the severity of his injuries to let him go in peace.
Franks isn't the only mother whose children spent their final days incarcerated in Louisiana.
Kadarius was a very loving child. He loved it art, and he just loved it to sing and dance.
That's Kimberly Williams, whose son Kadarius Cage died by suicide in EBR Parish Prison just this year. The list
in this place
goes on and on.
In East Baton Rouge Parish Prison, 20% of the deaths from 2015 to 2021 were suicides.
A new Loyola University report called Louisiana Deaths Behind Bars breaks down the numbers starting back in 2015.
East Baton Rouge Parish Prison, which is a jail operated by the sheriff, really stood out in a number of respects.
Lead author and law professor Andrea Armstrong says the report looks at all state prisons and jails, but EBR's sheer numbers of deaths makes it notable.
We found that 35 people died within the jail 2015 to 2021.
That's the highest number in the state, 15 more than number 2 Jefferson Parish Correctional Center. The deaths causes also stand out to Armstrong. Despite 80% of state inmate deaths being attributed to medical conditions, that number is significantly less at EBR.
We know that many of those deaths are due to unnatural causes, including violence, drug overdoses, and a high rate of suicides.
Armstrong says EBR redacts much of this information compared to other facilities, but mental illness is clearly a big factor.
So if a person needs to be put on suicide watch, they need constant supervision, which is often performed by security staff who fills out a log.
The sheriff's office declined to do an interview, but sent a statement saying, in part, the protocol for handling a suspected mentally ill inmate is to notify medical staff as soon as possible in order to make a health evaluation. Additional steps are then determined by medical.
The sheriff's office does have significant responsibility for the medical care that's provided to people who are incarcerated because his staff must collaborate and coordinate with the medical staff.
The prison's medical facility is the city parish's responsibility, operated through a company called Turnkey Health. A spokesperson says the provider is doing a solid job with treatment, sending these numbers from a medical report showing how much medical care inmates received from April 2022 to 2023. Despite this, Williams says she doesn't trust how the facility operates.
If they would have given his medication to him, he would have been sleeping.
Williams says her son was schizophrenic, and she worries he wasn't given proper medication despite her daily pleas.
Kept explaining to them that my son needed his medication because of his condition, and without that medication, he wouldn't be able to function. Because of the carelessness of the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison, I will never see my son again.
Williams and Frank say they both hope administrators learn from this study so more mothers don't have to go through this.
I don't stand for my son. I want to stand for someone else's son that goes there.
Yeah. What an impact his life has been on so many other people.
Ariel Salk, NBC Local 33 News.